Alright, welcome back to part 2 here, and we're getting ready to get this assembled, but I need to make a few angled cuts to match the end pieces here. So I've got my long side piece down here on the floor, and I've got one of my angled end pieces, and all I'm going to do is just line this up, and it doesn't really matter. I'm going to cut off each side. I cut these sideboards extra long so that I could make these cuts at the end here, and all I'm going to do is just kind of line up these angles, use my straight edge, and so I'm just gonna make a mark on that bottom board there so I can match that angle. I'm gonna do the same thing here at the other side. And next I'm just gonna match up the angle that I drew with my table saw blade here, just eyeballing it, and I'll cut just on the outside of that line. In case we've got any discrepancies, I can always sand it straight. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I have my one of my side pieces here and one of the end pieces just kind of propped up on my workbench so I can get a nice kind of square surface to get these screwed together. I already have a line marked here of where I want to, the depth of where I want to drill my hole through. I'm using a countersunk bit to drill all these holes, and I have just some deck screws. These are 2-inch deck screws that I'm using that I had left over. I really like these with the star bits. They really grip in well and they don't slip at all, so I can get a nice tight squeeze on this wood. Some of this wood is warped and not quite straight because of the old wood that I'm working with here. It's been left outside for years and it's all kind of twisted. And so I need to get a good screw pressure on here to make sure I can straighten some of these joints out. I've also marked, measuring each one of these screws so that they're all evenly spaced on all the sides. So I'm going to make sure that they're in the same place on each screw hole. Okay, so while we've got all this put together now, and the glue isn't quite hardened completely yet, and so I can't really sand these joints smooth. So I'm going to work on getting the legs kind of cut to the top angle here to match. So I'm just going to place these in here and kind of eyeball it. Everything will be leveled out at the end when I cut off the bottoms of these legs. So as long as they look nice and even on the ends here, then I should be in good shape. Alright, and I've got those cut to the angles at the top there, and I'm just going to give them a good sanding. Even though these are going to be painted, I still want to kind of sand them down and round off the edges here a little bit. Alright, so we've got the glues pretty much dried off on here, and so I'm just going to scrape off any spots that I can see where we've got a little bit of an overlap here, it looks like, too. So I'm going to get some of this kind of evened out and then do a final sanding on the whole thing and get any of this excess glue scraped off here as well. I found that the glue is actually much harder than the wood, so it doesn't sand very well. So the more you can scrape off, the better. Alright, I'm just using the legs to kind of support this up for now, and I'm just using some of our kids' old gloves here to just kind of wipe the surface off, make sure there's no dust. And I'm going to get a coat of spray lacquer on here. Okay, so we've got the leg section here clamped temporarily onto the end of the beehive, and everything's all lined up just where I want it. I've got a few lines drawn on here to keep my screws straight, and I'm just using some 2.5-inch deck screws, same as I was using earlier. I think I was using 2-inch earlier. These are a little longer to go through the 2x4. I'm just going to be using that countersunk bit to go ahead and pre-drill some holes here. A level surface here, and I'm just gonna level off the bottom of these legs. Alright, so we've got our bottom all cut out here, and I'm just adding some hinges. The bottom piece is actually going to open and close in the summer or winter. So in the winter time it'll be closed, and in the summertime we'll open it up for more ventilation. I'm also going to add a piece of wire lath at the bottom of the hive, so we keep predators and things like that out during the summertime when it's open. And we're just going to add a latch to the opposite side here. Well, I think that's going to be about it for this part here. I've got to go purchase a few extra things to finish up the roof, and I got some finishing touches to do on the inside, and making the entrance and feeder and all that kind of good stuff. So I think we'll close it off for today. But all in all, you know, so far it's coming out really well. There's a lot of little things that didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted to, because I'm using, you know, scrap pieces of wood and warped wood and stuff like that. But overall, I think it looks really nice so far. So all we have to do now is just get the roof on and finish a few other things up, and we'll have a functioning beehive here ready for some bees. So we'll catch part 2. I'll put a link here in the video somewhere along the lines here for the part 3, excuse me, when that comes out. And subscribe to the channel if you'd like to follow along with the beehive and anything else that we have going on. And as always, thanks for watching. Have a good one.